Guys, we are at the crucial point right now for Bitcoin. What is about to happen for Bitcoin is going to catch a lot of people by surprise. And also, I get the question, who is actually selling Bitcoin right now? Well, today I'm going to show you some data showing us who is actually selling Bitcoin. We're talking about a bunch of stuff today, guys. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Cristiano, bringing you cryptocurrency videos every day, teaching you how to make money in this market. If you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and activate the bell right now. So let's begin with the first thing, and this is what we have been tracking the last couple of weeks, and this has been a very important thing to pay attention to. And you can see that we have broken down from the blue 200-day moving average. Now this is very bearish. You can see that this daily candle right here is right now struggling to get above the blue line, and what we need to see here for the bulls is for us to get above the blue line and actually close above the blue line. Now this candle is being formed right now. As you can see, we did see a small little drop just now. So what we do not want to see is us to get down here, like below the blue line in this daily candle, and just have a wick, okay? So to have the actual body of the candle being rejected and the next candle, starting to form under this blue line. So that would be a confirmation of the rejection of the 200-day moving average, which is not a good sign at all. So what we need to see today, guys, we need to see a rally above the blue line. We need to close above the blue line. But there's another thing looming, and that is the next levels of resistance. So you can see that we have the next level of resistance here at the orange line sloping down. So even if we do get a nice pump above this, we are still approaching this level. So not only do we need to break above this blue line very soon, also we need to break above the orange and the red lines here, the big resistance lines, in the matter of just a couple of days. So this is something we need to pay attention to still. This is something we've been following recently, and yeah, that is the situation right now. But what is the reason, or why did we see a support here for Bitcoin? And also, by the way, guys, before we talk about that, this pattern here on the 4-hourly candles, which we've been talking about as well, you can see it's sloping down right here. We can see the support line right here. You can see that we broke down also from this level, but luckily we are inside of it again. But why did we see a support right here at 45,500 right here on this pattern? You can see that we found support here, and we found support obviously right here as well. Well, if we go to this chart, so this is on the weekly chart, this is also something we've been following, you can see that this very important support level is still intact. So on the weekly time frame, on the longer time frames, we're still having this support being intact. So now that we have broken down from this blue line, we need to look at the next level of support. So the next level of support is still right here at 46,000. Actually, as you know, we did find support here down below. If we go to the 4-hourly channels or 4-hourly candles, you can see that, yeah, this red line did support the price right here. In fact, we did have a couple of wicks breaking down here, found massive support here. So, I mean, even if you go to something like the daily on this exact chart, you can see that on the daily time frame of this red line, we did find support. So you can see that we touched it right here. You can see that we touched it right here as well. So this is what's holding up. This is what saved us from a bigger drop once we broke down from this blue line. But this support level, this particular support level, is not going to hold forever. So you can see that we are right on it right now. If we see a breakdown from this level, then I'm anticipating more downside for Bitcoin here in the short term. So also another thing, before we talk about the big level I am buying at, if we go to this, also on the longer time frames, on the weekly time frame, you still have a support level here at $44,000 approximately. So at $44,000, that is going to be the next level of support if we break down from this very important support level here on the daily and on the weekly time frame, right at 45,000, call it $46,000. So that leads me into my orange boxes, because the big level I am going to accumulate that is here at $42,000. If we see a drop and we get down here to $42,000, you already know I am going to be a big buyer of Bitcoin. So of course, I already have a lot of Bitcoin. I have a lot of altcoins and so on. So I can wait here. I can wait for the drop, and I can pick my entries basically, because I am, a trader who like to do high probability moves, meaning I buy at massive support, I sell at massive resistance. So that is for my, trading portfolio. That's the way I like to trade. And yes, if we get down here to $42,000, which is not confirmed, but if we see that break from the levels we've been talking about here at 44 and also at 45,700, and if we see that break down and confirmation of the retest breaking down, well, then I am expecting us to reach the level here at $42,000, in which I am going to be a big buyer. So the traditional markets are also a bit worrisome, because you can see that we broke down here. We tried yesterday to make a run for it. The bulls tried to break above the orange line here in traditional markets yesterday. Did not manage to do that. So yeah, this is not, I wanted us to preferably be above this orange line. Right now, we are going to open up the markets tomorrow below the orange box here, or below the orange line, which is not good. So yeah, there's a couple of things to be cautious about right now, guys. But where is the selling coming from? This is one of the most interesting questions, I think. Well, one thing we can do is we can use the data from Glassnode, and we can try to see where the selling is coming from. And what we can see is that the vast majority of selling is actually coming during Asian working hours. Now, Asian working hours does not mean that it necessarily has to be Asia selling Bitcoin at these specific points. It just means that if it is Europe, if it is the US, well, then they are basically selling in the middle of the night, which is not super likely. So it's pretty likely that the selling is actually coming from the Asian whales and the Asian institutions, because what you can see here is the green being during Asian working hours. And I'm not making this I'll blame it all on Asia. I'm just telling you what the data is telling us here, guys. As I said, it could be a bunch of people selling in the middle of the nights, although they are US and Europe based. That could be the case, although I don't find it likely. So here's the thing. This is the buy-in. The green is the buy-in during Asian working hours. And you can see that there's a decent amount of red here. And especially since $60,000 here, you can see that we had a massive selling during Asian working hours. Also, they were buying a lot here in the run up to $70,000 or $69,000 as well. But one thing to note here is that middle of November is when you had a lot of Evergrande stuff, when they defaulted and so on. So maybe that spooked the Asian markets and the institutions started to sell. Now I'm going to show you the same thing, but for the European and US markets. So this is posted by Johannes, by the way. So Johannes Ultra Virtue, shout out to him. So it's looking very different during US working hours. You can see that during US working hours, you had massive buy-in here. You had some selling as well. You had this, mountain of selling. But then since then, we are seeing massive amounts of buys from the US markets. Same thing with Europe. So with Europe, you can see that during Europe hours, we're seeing this mountain of buying right here. You're seeing this mountain of selling here. But then you're seeing, a little bit of hit and miss, but definitely more on the buy side here to the right. So if you compare this to something like this is much more red. So yeah, the selling seems to be coming from Asia primarily. So apart from it being really interesting, this is also maybe something you can apply to your trading. I don't know exactly how though, but if you find a way on how you can apply this data to your trading, well, let me know down in the comment section. Could it be as easy as just, buy when the US and when the European markets opens up and sell when they close and the Asian markets picks up? I don't know. I find it hard to believe that could be viable long term, but maybe someone has done, a back testing of that. Well, in that case, yeah, let me know down in the comment section. Very interesting nonetheless. All right, guys, that's what I got for you today. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. And guys, I will see you in the next one.